Hello everyone, Bradders here with a Road to Whore episode 2, my first semi-erection. Right, as always, just going to get straight into it. The next girl in my life was called Kirsty, so I know my current girlfriend is also called Kirsty, but that's just a coincidence. They are two different people, or at least I think they are. The reason being is this Kirsty I'm about to talk about had a much bigger rack up front than what my current girlfriend does. Let's just hope she doesn't hear that, because I'll be in the bad box for a long time. Anyway, let me tell you how I met this girl. So it was standard procedure. Every Friday after school, me and the lads would jump on the bus. We'd sit at the back of the bus acting like we were well hard, 10 men type of thing, and we would get the bus to the local arcades. And when we arrived to this arcades, 90% of the population were Asian. Now that's not being racist, I'm just telling you how it is. Fortunately, most of the girls in there were white British, but all the lads were 90% Asian, which there's nothing wrong with that, you know. I got on with them, so it wasn't too bad. So it was standard procedure for the lads to always group around what we call the boxing machine. Now, if you don't know what this is, basically, there's this machine, you put 50p in it, you press this red button at the top, and then this punch bag sort of lowers, and the idea is you punch it as hard as you can, and it will rate how hard you are or how hard you can punch. So I'm a good person for noticing my surroundings. I used to always, have a quick scan around the room, see who's around, see who's looking, see who's watching, see who's doing what, and I noticed this bunch of girls looking over in our general direction. So I got a bit manly and a bit tough, and I stood up, stood forward, and I took the lead. I put my 50p in the machine, pressed the button, this punch bag lowers, and I punched this machine with all my might, and I mean every pound of my body went into the fist and through the machine. And as the score started tallying up, I turned around and gave these girls like this sort of cute sign of cheeky sort of smile, and they didn't smile back. So I turned back around thinking I failed, and it got worse. There's this other guy who was smaller than me. He put his money in the machine, he punched the machine and got double my score. I instantly felt like a tit. Probably one of them other awkward moment type of things. So to smooth it over, I'm not usually the fastest, coolest thinking type of guy, I don't think fast on my feet. I have to think about things for a while, then do it. But this time round, I was spot on. I walked straight up to the girls as if I was going to walk past them. And as I walked past them, I said, yeah, I hit it with my weak arm. And I just sort of smirked at them, and they sort of giggled and thought it was funny. So I, to play it cool, I went to the 20p minstrel machine, put my 20p in the machine, got my minstrels, put them in my hand, went to walk back, and the girls started talking to me, just asking the usual stuff. Where are you from? Who you're here with? Where your mates from? What age are you? Etc. What school do you go? And I'm not the best person at talking to girls, or I am now, but back then I wasn't. I was very nervous. But my friends were more confident. So my friends came over, luckily, and started talking to them with me. Now, it's a bit of a blur, the next step. Somehow we ended up from the arcades into the cinema, watching, I think it was The Last Samurai Sword. And when we sat down, we just sat down in a random pattern. And I ended up sitting down to this girl she was quite small, but she had a huge rack up front. When I say rack, she had big boobs. And I was pretty kiddie-ish, giggling, sort of quite excited, thinking nothing was going to happen, but I'm sat next to this fit girl, so ooh, yeah, get in there, brothers. So we actually got kicked out of the cinema because one of the girls started smoking, and someone complained, which they were, right to do so. So we got kicked out, and we went to the car park, and we just sat in the car park on these benches, and we were just having a good laugh all night, and the more the night went on, the more comfortable we all got with each other. We started to get to know them slowly, and I started to get to know Kirsty a lot more. We were having a laugh, I was getting quite confident and cocky and stuff like that. We were talking about the punch bag machine that I failed on, and we were laughing it off, and it was going alright, quite smooth if I'm honest. Me and Kirsty were sat on a bench by ourselves, and I could not help but think about the moment when I first kissed the other girl. and I was like, oh, please don't be as bad as that, please, please, please. And it was brilliant. I actually leaned in for the kiss, and she just started naturally kissing back, and I loved it. And it didn't last that long, but it lasted a lot longer than 4 seconds. And she didn't walk away after either. She actually stood there, and she just cuddled me, and I cuddled her. We were just having a laugh on the bench. And all night, every now and again, we started kissing, and it was brilliant, you know. I mean, I must have learnt so much that night just from kissing. It was unreal. That was all my experience in one night. It was not a dream come true, but I'm not gonna lie. On the way home on the bus, me and the lads, I was bragging so much, you know. I thought I was the man, you know. I thought I had the balls and stuff like that. It was a good night for me. I really enjoyed it, and luckily we swapped phone numbers, and we were texting all night and the next morning, and then on Monday after school we decided to go see them again, and we met them in their area outside some shops, and it was the same girls and the same lads, so it wasn't too bad. And by then we'd all knitted together, so I used to talk to Kirsty, Ben used to talk to Lauren a lot, I think it was Lauren, and there was actually two Bens. The other Ben, he used to talk to the other girl, I can't remember her because she faded out quite quick. I think she got grounded and didn't come out. So it was normal for us all to just go off in our separate groups, and I can't remember who asked who, but me and Kirsty ended up going out with each other. I suppose she was my first proper girlfriend as well, actually. I forgot about that. Yeah, she was actually. So we were dating, for not long. It was only a couple of weeks, but back then that felt long enough, you know. We used to kiss all the time, and I used to. My confidence grew so much. I used to think I was so tough walking around school, like, yeah, I've got this girlfriend, she's got big tits, and I kiss her all the time, type of thing. And the fail came one night. We were out in her area, and we were stood behind the back of these shops, and we was in our separate groups again, and we were kissing. And I remember prior to this, her friend was texting me saying, Kirsty wants to do stuff with me, but she's a bit nervous and things like that. And I didn't let on that I was nervous, because I had no idea what to do with a vagina. I'd never touched one or seen one before then. I've seen it on porn, but even on porn I was like, what the fuck is that sort of thing, So I remember us going behind these row of shops, and we were kissing, and by then kissing was just like an everyday thing for me. It was like going toilet, I was fucking shit hot at it. So I didn't mind the kissing sort of action. It was standard procedure. I could do it with my eyes closed, like you do, But this particular time, she reached for my cock, and it was totally unexpected. And I was quite excited, but my heart was pounding, because all sorts of things enter your head. I was thinking, what if my cock's too small? What if she doesn't like it? What if I piss in her hand? Or what if it just doesn't work, And she was tugging away on it. She was doing the shittest motion ever. How I could jerk off that, I have no idea. And it didn't grow. I got a semi-on, and I was like, yes, come on, you're getting there, and it just stayed at a semi-on. And so this poor girl was tugging on my willy, and it wasn't growing for her, and she just thought that I didn't find her attractive, and she literally just walked off. And she walked off to her friends, and her friends, ran off, literally, because me and the lads were like, where have they gone? We walked round to the front of the shops, and we seen them running across the road, so we knew they wanted to get away from us. So I thought, fine, let's leave them, I'm not going to chase after them. So I told the lads what had happened, and they found it quite funny, and I got some stick for that again, like I did for the first episode. And unfortunately, she ended it after that. She found it too embarrassing. She didn't want to see me again, which is fair enough. I mean, I was quite gutted. I tried smoothing it over, saying, "Oh no, I really enjoyed it. It was my fault, not yours. I was just tired and wasn't expecting it." But she was having none of it. She was that was the last time I ever texted her, actually, and it's quite a shame, because she had a huge rack, and I actually thought she would have been my first. I would have lost my virginity to her, but it didn't happen. But as I say, all these girls add to your experience, and you'll know that as each episode comes out. I progress each episode, so I hope you all enjoyed this. Thank you for all your support. I cannot stress how well I'm doing at the moment, and without you guys it would be impossible. So enjoy this video, or I hope you did. Take it easy, and I'll catch up with you guys later. Goodbye for now.